back to the ESP or the Gyro Stabilization real quick. Now, it is a very handy feature and I do like it a lot. It basically comes in handy when you're maybe on gravel or some uneven surfaces or places where you would need sort of a traction control. It will keep your chair from spinning around wildly if you encounter one wheel that's suddenly on a loose surface like gravel. Or when you're accelerating from a stop on gravel, one tire is going to want to spin more than the other. Now, in that scenario, works perfectly. The only problems I've found, I've got a couple of the friends that have had issues as well. When you're going down the sidewalk and you encounter a transition or something with a tree root, or you're trying to maneuver and turn while the surface is uneven, the chair can kind of start going into a little bit of a fishtail, and then your body gets thrown back and forth, and that kind of amplifies things because the motion gets transferred through to your hand on the joystick. Now, I've found turning up the tremor dampening on the profile that you're using does help a little bit. I think I've got mine set to around 15 or 20%, something like that. And you can set an additional profile on your chair that is specifically for that purpose. So, like, for example, my old Amy Systems chair, I had 5 profiles on that thing. And one of them was set up for when I first get up in the morning. Now, when I first get up, I have a very hard time moving around. It's relating to the position of my neck and the problem that C7 I have there. But I don't even have wrist flexors most of the time when I wake up in the morning. So it's a little bit difficult to control my chair. So I have a profile that's specifically set up with tremor dampening for when I get up. That way I don't try and move and, put additional holes in the walls or whatnot. But the thing to remember with the F3 and even like an M3, if you happen to order one of those that has the gyroscope or the ESP, now ESP is stock on the F3 and F5. It is not stock on the M3 or the M5. It's an upgrade option. But you just have to remember that that's there, and there's certain situations where it's going to try and get away from you. So you just have to remember your hand positioning. And if you have like an armrest trough, that may be helpful to keep your arm from moving around, or make sure the positioning of your joystick is such that you have a good grip on it, or as much as you can, depending on what kind of controls you're using. The other thing that makes a big difference too is if you carry a backpack on the back of your chair, the action of the backpack swinging around will cause a problem with the ESP or the gyroscope as well. Because as that swings, it's going to force the chair one way or the other, and the chair is going to try and correct that. So if you are using a backpack, use some zip ties or like Velcro straps or something on the bottom so it's held tight against the chair. And when you're moving back and forth like this, make sure the backpack's not swinging. That's going to save you a lot of trouble later on.